Hello, all you hardcore boxing fans out there. How you doing? It's Russ here from Porky's Corner, the voice of hardcore boxing. First of all, before I introduce my next guest, I want to say thank you to all those who joined members area. I've now sussed out, or somebody else has, how to put a link on the comment section. So there's going to be a link on every video pinned to the top of the comment section. Just click on link and that tells you how to join, because there's been some problem for the last 2 months and I've not got around to sorting it. But thanks for subscribing and thanks for liking and leaving a comment. Today I'm joined by Terry from London. How you doing, Terry?
Good, mate. How are you?
I'm all right. A lot gone on in the last 3 or 4 days.
Yeah. Right. Well, not much fighting, but definitely a lot of
Talking.
Entertainment and gossip. Yeah.
What do you think about the Joshua Usyk carry on with him vacating, or is he not going to vacate? And the Hearn situation, Fearon sticking it to Hearn and a few others sticking it to him. Sam Jones, he's in the mix as well, but he's not suing anybody with the WBO situation. What do you think about it all? Tyson Fury, Wilder, is he going to fight him? Is he retiring? What's your take on it, Terry?
It's all posturing at the moment, Russ. You know how it is. You normally get this, right? When these fights are, remember, it's not even announced, but Joshua's gone into camp with, who is it, Wadi Camacho?
Yeah.
So you imagine that's just the warm-up guy before you get the guys like Senad Gashi. You're not going to get Luis Ortiz. You might get, like I said, Johan Hernandez, who's the other Cuban southpaw heavyweight. And there's probably a few other guys. I don't know if he's going to go with like Jalalov before he goes to the Olympics. But Josh has got options. Dempsey McKean, the Australian kid, he might get over for some sparring. But it looks like that's the direction they're headed in. So I don't imagine Josh is a guy he doesn't have to vacate, if you see what I mean, because why would you give up a belt to do what? Like, what's his alternative?
Yeah. Do you see him vacating, Terry?
Why would he? Because I'd understand it if there was a more lucrative fight that he could make. That's not Alexander Usyk, but he'll make the same money for fighting Usyk as he would for fighting Dillian. So why would you give up the belt?
Yeah. Did you see Sam Jones' tweet this morning regarding Dylan White against Joshua, saying he deserves it and that?
You know me, Russ. I try and avoid all that stuff. But look, if you want to announce like Wembley being back and open for business, I could see why you'd do it. But Usyk's waited long enough, so why doesn't he get his shot?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? There's a lot of skullduggery going on behind the scenes, and the people throwing stuff out, and by the looks of it, people are asking stuff to be thrown out by that. People are saying, "Will you put this out for me?" And people are siding with certain camps. I mean, look at Spencer Fearon. It's not so long ago he were hanging out back of Eddie Hearn. Now he's thrown him under the bus on IFL. What's all that about?
What did he say?
He just said that he'd been played and this and that and blah blah blah.
Yeah, but Spencer's speaking for MTK, right?
Yeah.
So he's got to defend the fort.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. Yeah, it's a bit of a mess, isn't it? Really, the heavyweight division at the moment. Do you think?
Only because of this undisputed situation. If you actually look at it as a series of fights, the right fights are happening most of the time. So it's not fatal in that sense. It's just annoying because we were so close to undisputed, but it doesn't feel like anyone connected with the belts really wants it to happen.
Now everybody's trying to stop it, aren't they? Even just for one fight. So we could just have it for one fight. They can't allow us as fans to have it for one fight, can they, Terry?
No, because you know what they know, Russ? They know after that one fight, boxing's done for the next 5 to 7 years.
Yeah.
You know, look at what happened after Mayweather-Pacquiao. We all assumed after Mayweather-Pacquiao, right, this fight's been done. This is the new era in boxing, more money for everybody. And then Mayweather left a year later, right? And the money went all the way down.
Yeah.
So they'll never give you what you want because they know you'll just go off and do something else.
Do you feel vindicated, Terry, saying that Joshua Fury won't happen this year at all? You know, when you've been saying it for a long time, haven't you now? Do you feel vindicated?
Mate, I did the episode May 2nd, 2016, and everything I said then holds true today. The only person who had to give their blessing to that fight happening was Deontay Wilder. Now, if I'd been Eddie Hearn, I'd have rung Wilder, I'd have apologized, I'd have said, listen, I was just being the standard English idiot for the media to try and drum up interest. I'm really sorry. I respect you as a man, as a fighter. I'd have squashed all of that. And I imagine Wilder would have been more receptive. But once you disrespect someone like Wilder, who's, I've said it before, is a very prideful man, you're setting yourself up for disaster. So if I'm DAZN, I'm looking at Eddie and I'm like, I think Oscar could have made this fight happen. So really, is Eddie my guy? I don't know. Yeah. It's looking more and more like he's talked himself into a corner now, and I don't know how he gets out of it.
Do you think Eddie's mouth's ran away with him too much, and he's spun that many lies and that many webs that he's dug his in a hole?
You know what it's like, Porky, right? Like, I've got friends, and they're crackheads, for want of a better expression. You know, we grew up together, but life pulled us in different directions. They're crackheads. And we don't speak because they lied to everybody for so long about getting clean, about paying money back. They lied about all of these little things that they're isolated now. Like, you can't come back. And I think Hearn's kind of in that position where you look at him and you go, how'd you make peace with Bob? How'd you make peace with Shelley? How'd you make peace with Al? Like, how'd you make peace with Oscar? I don't know, mate. Like, it's tricky. And it feels like there's tension between Eddie and the Sauerlands now.
There always has been, though, hasn't there, really? Callum Sauerland's not a big Eddie Hearn fan. They may do selfies together and that, but look, I've heard on Grapevine, he can't stand him, mate. Can't stand him. And with this Wasserman thing, Eddie will feel like he's been backstabbed there, won't he?
Well, you know, Eddie can't have everything, you know what I mean? So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But I think if we zero in on the heavyweights for now, if you're an Eddie Hearn heavyweight and you're looking, going, where can I go? You're really just going, right, I'm stuck with these in-house fights for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be interesting now because we don't want to see Parker Chisora again, do we? We don't want to see Parker versus White. I mean, Dylan White's in a bit of a tight spot now. I mean, where does he go here? He's throwing Chris Ariola's name about. And now he's
Luis Ortiz.
Luis Ortiz, I mean, he's an old man, isn't he, now?
Yeah, that's his only option, because remember, Dillian's modus operandi is, I'm going to secure as many names as I can. They don't need to be young and they don't need to be in their prime. I just want to get my names so I can get paid, and it justifies bigger fights further down the line.
Yeah. And
I feel for Dillian, because how long does he have to wait? Is he just going to be that nearly man, you know, for his whole career?
Well, is he bothered going for his 7th pay-per-view if he fights Ortiz? He's piling them pay-per-views up, isn't he?
Yeah, but he could make more money as a champion. Like, it elevates him to a different level when he's a world champion.
Yeah.
You know, different endorsements, different deals, different this, different that. You know, he then gets on that TV show with, I don't know, Eamon Holmes or whoever it is, Philip Schofield. He gets on all of those shows, all of a sudden, Loose Women.
Philip Schofield? Who wants to go on there, mate? Or Loose Women?
You do. I bet you do, Porky. You'd be good on Loose Women.
Get me on Ready, Steady, Cook. I do a mean chili. Dylan went on there, didn't he, and put a stone on.
No, he was on MasterChef.
That's it, MasterChef, not Ready, Steady, Cook, MasterChef.
And so it was my mate who trained him how to cook. So no, it was. Hold on, I'm sure. Didn't I break that on one of your episodes once? I said,
you did, yeah.
Yeah, I said, look, expect to see Dillian on MasterChef.
With his Jamaican menu.
He did all right. He did all right.
Do you feel that Dylan White, if he fights Joshua next, I mean, hypothetically, let's just say he does, do you think he's got a better chance than he had when he turned the Wembley fight down? You know, the rematch before, a couple of years back?
Yeah, I think he's matured as a pay-per-view guy. I don't think the occasion will get to him.
Yeah.
That's the important thing. The occasion won't get to him. You know, before he had a point to prove. Now he's almost like, actually, considering who Joshua lost to, he's not that much better than me. So actually, almost by not fighting him, he's become better in terms of this fight.
Yeah. It's interesting times ahead, but what do you see happening with Sky situation with Joshua and DAZN and Eddie Hills and all that carry on? What do you think about that, Terry?
I imagine they're having conversations right now, and you're looking at it now. If I'm Joshua, I'm looking at Eddie, and I'm saying, what fights can you make happen? That's what that's what I'm asking now, because it's like, well, you want me to sign to you for another 3 years, but who's he fought since he signed a deal with him the last time? Who's he fought? Like Parker, Ruiz twice, Pulev,
Vladimir.
No. That was the first deal, right?
He fought Parker before that, though, didn't he? Oh, did he fight Parker after Wembley?
Yeah. Because he had to get the WBO belt. That was the last one.
After Joshua. So he fought Parker, Povetkin, Pulev, Takam, Ruiz twice.
Yeah, I think Takam's the first deal. So it might be Povetkin, Parker, Ruiz twice, and Pulev. Like, that's not a great run for Joshua. Do you see what I mean? Like, you're not making amazing fights. You know what I mean? In 3 years, Eddie couldn't make a fight with Fury. He couldn't make a fight with Wilder. And we know for a fact it's not because those two didn't want the fight, because they've shown they're willing to fight anyone.
Yeah.
Right. So if I'm Joshua now, I'm like, what do I actually need Eddie for? I just need Eddie to organize an event. I don't need him to negotiate on my behalf. So maybe now you start to see Freddie Cunningham come out the woodwork, or, you know, step into the limelight and say, look, if you can't deal with Eddie, at least deal with me.
Yeah, because Eddie's rubbed them all the wrong way, all these other managers and promoters, hasn't he?
Because that stuff he was doing was cool, Russ. Like, when he was the up-and-coming promoter, it was all right to take shots at the establishment, right? Mm-hmm. And it worked. It got the fans on his side. But then he became the establishment. And when you're the establishment, you have to behave differently. You've got to be more dignified. You've got to be more statesman-like. You know, you have to do the right things more often than not.
Yeah. And
I don't think he's managed to do that.
Do you think it's all blown up in his face recently, Terry?
I wouldn't say blown up, but it's definitely kind of had to humble him a bit.
When you're earning £1 million a week, you sort of get carried away with your own persona, don't you?
Yeah, but just have a look at it. Like, this Saturday, who's he got? Is it Haney Linares? It's not a fight I care about.
No.
There's no fight on that card we really care about. And then we've got the Lewis Ritson card. We don't care about that. Eddie's not making fights that we care about because he can't make the fights we care about.
Do you think he'll stop with Sky?
Mate, I don't see how, for two reasons. Number one, I think we talked about this before.
Yeah. Sky
aren't seeing the growth, right? I think Sky's view at the moment is we do the same numbers on a Joshua fight, whether Eddie promoted it or not. So our priority has to be keeping Joshua. I don't know if they can, but I'd be trying to keep Joshua. He's a pay-per-view guy, so you don't even need Saturday night TV anymore. Do you see what I mean? You can just run pay-per-views. I can see Sky doing that, just running pay-per-views every month.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Where do you think this leaves Ergovic and Yui Fury and people like that, you know, fringe world guys?
Well, they're fine, because all Eddie has to do is keep paying the sanctioning bodies to keep pushing them up the rankings, right? Make them mandatory. It gives you access to Fury, gives you access to Wilder and so forth.
Where does it leave Joe Joyce, though?
Well, Joe's with Frank, right? So he hasn't got a problem because Frank's got the relationship with Bob. So there are always options. And Eddie needs Joe at some point. So Joe's in a good position at the moment because he's world level. You know, that's what people are saying now. They're saying Joe Joyce is world level. I'm not going to dispute that. So let's put him in with someone where we can make some money.
Why do you think Dylan White's not calling out Joe Joyce?
Because he listens to Porky's Corner. No, look. Why would you? If you could avoid Joe Joyce, you would. Looks like his chin's granite. You know, he'll pound you for 12 rounds relentlessly. Yeah. If there's an easier way to make a couple of million, you choose it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's... do you think Dylan's bothered about all criticism he gets off people like me saying he's only won a vacant British?
Who cares, man? Do you care what people think about you, Porky?
No, I used to do. I don't know more.
Yeah, I think you get to a certain point where you've proven yourself repeatedly, and you don't care what Tommy says with his tuna sandwiches in his little Thunderbirds lunchbox. You don't care after all.
Thunderbirds lunchbox. I used to have one of them, Terry, when I was young.
Well, there you go. You see.
No, it would have Starsky and Hutch.
I don't think Dillian cares, man. I think he's an incredibly wealthy man. He's overcome significant odds to get there. Like I remember when he started, Porky, and they were saying Ian Lewison and Dom Akinladi were miles better than Dillian. And now look where they are and look at where he is. What he's done is nothing short of remarkable.
Yeah, he invested in his camps and everything, didn't he? And things like that.
He treated it like a business. He was the first guy I saw treat boxing like a business.
Yeah. Yeah, first guy from down your way. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they went to Loughborough Monday to Friday, didn't they? And they had sparring partners brought in and that. And
even before that, Porks, before that, he was investing in his career. Remember the days when he was going up to spar Huey and all that? He was going there and he was learning about the game. He was listening to everybody. And then that's where the Loughborough idea came from, because he suddenly realized you can't do this stuff in Miguel's. You've got to be in a dedicated facility that's geared around you and when and how you train. And you've got to have access to the best equipment, the best brains. But what he also realized, this was his game changer. You have to be around other elite sports people. It will just bring out another level in you.
So would you say that Joshua Dillon is not going to happen next?
It doesn't need to. I think that's one you can save. You can save it for, because look, you can spin the whole Joshua's got to fight his mandatory thing, right? The fans will understand that. It's still quite a depressed market. I don't think boxing is going to be 100% back this summer. So why not get the Usyk thing out the way now in a flat market? And then maybe by year end, if people are more confident about going out, you do something in a big arena. You say, right, we're going to do Joshua versus Dillian Whyte. And you make that a big event. And people, that's our celebration of British boxing.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting, Terry. Interesting.
Because think about this, Russ. Think about it from this perspective. Joshua v. Dillian will sell out Wembley, right? There's no question about that.
Yeah.
Joshua versus Fury will sell out Wembley. So why would you take the Fury risk of losing when you could get the same money fighting Dillian?
Well, yeah, I suppose, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, maybe. But like I said, we're going to see what happens before next Friday. Eddie is saying they're going to make a decision for next Friday, aren't they, what they're doing with WBO?
No, I don't think... Well, Eddie doesn't make that decision. Like, Joshua makes that decision.
Eddie likes to put his son into every announcement, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, wow. Remember what he said? He owns the promotional rights to Anthony Joshua. Or as he said on Sky Sports News once, I own Anthony Joshua.
Well, obviously he doesn't, does he?
Well, he's about to not own Anthony Joshua. And it's really interesting that they haven't re-signed yet.
Yeah, I look at it like this. Joshua's pretty shrewd. He might think, do you know what? I'll stay with Sky. If Eddie's going to shoot his Senate foot and do one, I might as well stay with Sky and start signing fighters. What do you think?
So let's take the characters out of it, right? If you look at it objectively, Joshua looks at DAZN and goes, they're paying Canelo 35 to 40 million a fight, right? And I think Canelo's got what, six more fights left with DAZN?
Yeah.
So that's 180 mil, maybe 200 million tied up in Canelo. Joshua's there going, I need a similar amount of money because I'm the heavyweight champion. I've got most of the belts. So now Joshua's like, even at 40 mil a fight for 3 fights, that's 120 mil. So that's 300 million. And if I'm Joshua, I'm like, I don't think DAZN have that money to keep paying me and Canelo. So then I look at it and I go, maybe I stick with Sky because they're going to get me the most money in the UK. And I do a deal with Showtime because I've never burnt my bridges with Showtime. and Showtime can do business with ESPN, which they've done already. And more importantly, Showtime get me access to Wilder, get me access to Ortiz, get me access to those US-based heavyweights. And it gives me a chance to build myself in America without Hearn screwing it up.
Yeah. It's so Joshua's basically going to stay with Sky if he gets offered a deal.
But like I said, Russ, why wouldn't you? Okay, let's look at it like this, right? Let's say Canelo's now going to fight 3 times a year. Okay, May, September, maybe December or January, one of those, right? He fights 3 times a year. When are you going to put the Joshua fights in?
You're not going to do, are you? Because they can't squeeze him in, can they?
Yeah, and you can't free up, because remember, you got to free up the money as well. So when you agree a Canelo fight, that's your 35 mil plus locked away in escrow till that fight's done. So that's 6 weeks of not having that money. So when are you going to pay Josh? You can't. It just, the numbers don't make sense. And then if I'm DAZN, I'm happy to say, let Sky do all the work with Joshua. What we will do is we'll buy the rights for the fights, right? Instead of having to pay this guy, we'll just put 4 or 5 million into the pot.
Save paying him 30.
Yeah.
Yeah, into the pot. I used to hear that all the time up at Dennis. Yeah, he's going to put it in pot. I was thinking, pot, what's this fucking pot he keeps going on about? This is when I first started, and I realised like a pot of stew, like too many cooks spoiling the broth in the pot.
Those are the days, Paul. What was that, 52 months ago?
Fuck off, Terry, taking piss. I don't know. 10 months ago, you piss-taking bastard. That's 6 years. Go on.
I was going to say, in about 5 weeks' time, everything in boxing will become a lot clearer. Yeah. When we know where the contracts are going, we'll have absolute clarity on stuff. I still think BT's up for sale, so I wouldn't be surprised if DAZN make a bid for BT Sport.
Where will that leave Bricktop?
Maybe with Sky.
Bricktop with Sky. You know, that'll be a right masterstroke by him, wouldn't it?
Yeah. But you can't think about it from a DAZN perspective. If you don't buy BT Sport, you don't get Premier League coverage, you don't get Champions League coverage till 2025. You can't keep trying to build a channel on boxing for the next 4 years. It doesn't make any sense, Russ.
It's all exciting, Terry, isn't it? Next 5 weeks. Ooh!
It's why we tune in, Russell.
Yeah, welcome to the Blue Ribbon Division, Matt. It's back. Rough, tough, rugged, durable, all action, compelling, added spice, sizzling.
Hey, mate, like Dennis has got a show tomorrow.
Yeah, Cash Ali's fights, isn't he? So,
yeah. Are you going?
No, I'm not going.
Why?
Because I've got a bit of pride about myself. Why would I want to kiss ass with somebody that did me wrong? So no, I'm not going. I hope it pisses it down. Listen, I'm only saying what other people daren't say. There's other people who are Dennis's mates who are hoping it pisses it down. Well, they'll tell Dennis to wish him all the best. I won't. Dennis, I know you're watching. I hope it pisses it down. Hailstone. But I hope Cash Ali wins because I like him.
I hope the show goes well, man. Like,
you keep it real, aren't you?
Nah, we've got to support British boxing, Russ. We've got to support the hardcore.
Yeah. I'll be watching now.
Oh, you got Fight Zone?
Now I've got a free stream. I'm awful, aren't
I? Russ.
I know, yeah. Well, what can you do?
You and Den need to make peace, man. Like, you need to have a sit down.
You're not welcome on my channel, mate. You have to beg.
Mate, like Danny Flexen's making a good living off Dennis right now. He's getting those numbers in.
I've been looking, mate. There's no numbers in there, mate. They're not doing as good as me, mate.
But who is, though? I mean, you're the new IFL.
Danny Flexen didn't give a toss about Dennis. When I were at Dennis's, didn't give a toss about him, mate.
Yeah, but Danny Flexen's trying to make a living. He's grifting hard off that seconds out, and I don't think it's quite working because if we strip everything away, Danny Flexen's not an interesting guy, right? He has nothing to say that we want to hear. And he's not really a good journalist either. So it's almost like, mate, what are you doing?
He shouldn't be a shithouse to Mark Tibbs then, should he?
I think he's got a reputation for that in general. So I'm not Flexen's biggest fan. I didn't like it when he was doing the magazine back in the day. I just think he's a guy that's kind of grifted off boxing, and he's just got as far as he has because he's survived long enough. That's pretty much it. He's nothing to write home about, from being honest.
Who's that other one that was slagging me off? Ben Daughter. Listen here, Ben Daughter, you little fucking gimp. I were offered that job that you had at Boxing Social before any of you, when Boxing Social started, and I turned it down, you little fucking gimp. But you say to people on the quiet what I say in front of a camera, Ben Daughter. If you got a problem, come and fucking see me, flat nose.
Wait, hold on. What did he say?
Oh, you've been sticking knifing on Porky's corner.
Saying what?
Saying I'm out of order for speaking out about certain issues. But it's only what he says. It's only what he says, but he ain't got the gonars to come out and say it, has he, like me, old flat nose?
Do you know what it is, Russ? No. You understand, a lot of these guys have been grifting. They've been trying to make a living out of boxing since like the mid-2000s, right? And he's one of them. He used to do these weird boxing tours in East London. I don't know if anyone actually ever signed up for them. So all these guys have been grifting. I know, like, he tried to ride the coattails of Spencer Fearon. That didn't quite work out for him. I know there were drug and alcohol issues. Or was it just alcohol? I can't remember. The guy's generally bitter at people who are building something now, because he's got that view of they weren't there in 1997. I'm like, all right, cool. They weren't, but listen, if the fans want to listen, that's what matters. Well, because Russ, here's what people don't realize, and I'm sure your numbers will tell you the same thing.
Yeah.
Boxing fans genuinely want to know what I have to say, and they genuinely want to know what you have to say. Yeah. I don't imagine having celebrity names would do anything for your numbers, right?
No.
It doesn't. Like, when I get people on mine, it doesn't do much for my numbers. I actually put people on, Russ, to help them. Like, I don't need it for the numbers, because people just go, well, I want to know what Terry thinks about this. And I'm grateful for that. I'm really grateful for that. But it just goes to show, like, when you're authentic, you will build an audience. It may not be like IFL's audience, but then I don't have to sell my soul. So I feel okay about that.
Yeah. People should just be more transparent. If they want to sit and talk amongst people on WhatsApp at night, or in pub or in cafes about certain issues, and then have a dig at me because I say it, I don't just, if when I talk about you, if we go out for a beer or a bite to eat, what we speak about on our channels. But other people say, I can't say that because I might have to wait with them. I don't care about that. I care about giving an opinion what the fans want to listen to, boxing fans. Yeah. There's too many times that they're kept in the dark, and I think that I've been a game changer, and my numbers at the moment are showing that. You know, so...
Yeah, and all you need is that crossover video. It's like when Joshua lost to Ruiz and your numbers went up. Like, there's a big step change in your numbers.
Yeah.
Because people were like, yo, that Porky guy called all of this from the start. Yeah. So you need another moment like that, and that will probably take you up to the 10K mark.
We need a Mickey Theo porno, don't we? Hey, Mickey Theo, we need you in a porno, and calling John Fury after you've dealt with a couple of bitches in some hotel or something. That's what we need, don't we? We need something a bit different.
That makes sense. And so that's what people need to understand. So these guys like Ben Doughty and so forth, they're known to a small proportion of people, but the everyday fans don't know who he is, man. They know who you are. That's what matters.
Just because you've been in boxing in the 3 years, it don't mean say you're entitled. You've got to evolve. Sometimes you have to go against the establishment to make waves. Too many people feel like they have to. For example, I know you don't agree with this, but I think Rob Tebbert is a good interviewer, but there's times when he gets them in a position and he backs off. And I think that lets himself down when he should go in for the kill. You know, when he gets them on the hook, he backs off, Terry, and it frustrates.
Listen, I've never understood why you're a fan of his. He asks questions a 6-year-old could ask. Do you know what I mean? So, like, I can't agree with you on that one. I think the standard of boxing interviewing is actually terrible. You know, you don't make people uncomfortable. So I did an episode with Denzel Bentley the other day, Russ.
Yeah, I'm just listening to it now. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, and I well, before we recorded, I said, "Is anything off limits?" He said, "No," and I said, "This might get uncomfortable for you," and he said, "Okay, cool." And he went in, and if you listen to that episode, not many boxers speak that way. Like you get an insight into what happens after someone's lost, and I'm grateful for him for doing it because I know it's a big risk, but you don't get that on IFL very often. You definitely don't get that on Behind the Gloves because they don't realize what's important. And what's important is the fans get to see that these boxers are human beings too. Denzel Bentley's a human being. Like, him losing affected him badly. And, you know, he's rebuilding on his way back. And, you know, that's when fans get behind you, when they're like, actually, you are honest and transparent. Okay, we get where you're coming from. We now want to see you win. And hopefully that's going to be the vibe from the boxing fans. Now they'll get behind him and they'll go, right, mate, at least you're honest and transparent with us.
Well, that's good, that, isn't it? I liked the Larry Alabama one you did. That's a popular one, isn't it, on your channel?
Mate, that did crazy numbers. That went everywhere. Went everywhere in boxing. So me and Larry, we need to do a part 2. But probably want to talk about drugs this time. Maybe just talk about some of the rubbish that, you know, that's around boxing training in general. We might get back on the drugs because a lot of stuff has happened since as well. But, you know, he's a hard man to get hold of, man. Larry's all Hollywood now, isn't he? So
Larry, I didn't know you were a sprinter, you know, doing sub 11 seconds and that.
Yeah. But come on, Russ. You did what? You did 10:49 in year 11.
12:68 when I was 15-year-old. Yeah,
man. What were you doing? You were doing shoulder presses, 130 kilo behind the neck.
30. 30. No, what the heck, man? I can't lift, me. Only thing I used to be able to lift were kilos, one at a time, up my nose.
Mate, is that going to get you demonetized?
Probably. I'll probably get into trouble off these for saying that. But I think that it all needs to open up in the next few weeks, this heavyweight division, and we need some clarity on a lot of things, Terry, getting back to boxing.
Wouldn't you say that Fury's going to retire?
Somebody was saying that to me last night that Fury's saying he's going to retire to get out of that fight, and I don't know whether to believe that or not.
So here's the thing. You can't retire to get out of a contractual commitment. It will just hang over your head. And so when you come back, you'll still have to fight Wilder. You could come back at 55 years old, you'll still have to fight Wilder. You're not getting out of that.
Al Heyman and Shelley Finkel don't mess about, do they?
Nah. Their situations are straight. Do you know what I mean? And the thing about Al is you got to remember, Al's worth like 800, 900 million without boxing. Mm-hmm. Do you see what I mean? So
it's like getting an audience with Queen, isn't it? Trying to see him.
No, apparently you can go and see Al at any time. Like if you know how to get it made, you can go and see Al at any time.
I don't mind him actually, Al Heyman. He doesn't shout his mouth off or anything like that. He's like that guy sat behind a chair in Charlie's Angels, isn't he? You don't get to see him, do you?
But you know his history, don't you?
Yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, he's from Harvard, isn't he?
Not even that. That's that Riku line. No, so Al, back in the late 70s.
Oh, music, wasn't it?
He used to organize concerts for artists that venues didn't want to book.
Yeah.
So he was the first guy to organize hip hop concerts and hip hop tours. And what he was able to do, this is where he was smart. He knew how to keep all the gangs on side whenever he went to a town. So he always had the best security. So his events never kicked off, apart from the New Edition one. So through that, like it was called the Budweiser Tour or something. And then one day there was a shooting and Budweiser said, we can't be involved. And they gave Al like their 60% of the business. And so as hip hop got bigger, Al Heyman was like the only hip hop tour and concert promoter got bought out by Live Nation for like $500 million in the 90s or something crazy like that. And then he stayed on the board of Live Nation.
Did you put Run DMC on and things like that?
Everyone, yeah. Everyone. Earth, Wind and Fire, the SOS Band, the Whispers, Shalimar. He's promoted for everyone.
Run DMC were massive, weren't they?
Yeah. He made... So you imagine you sell your business to Live Nation for $500 million back in the day when $500 million meant something. And then you're a shareholder in Live Nation as it grows and gets bigger. And then I think they finally bought him out recently. So he's close to a billionaire, Russ.
Yeah.
He doesn't need the money. But what he has, then this is what people don't understand. He has connections everywhere because so many people that came up under him now control venues, TV networks, radio stations. If Al needs a favor, and that's how Deontay Wilder became who and what he is, if Al needs a favor, like, I need you to promote this guy, get him on a TV show, Al gets it done. Powerful man.
Do you feel that Al Heyman outmaneuvered Eddie Hearn by just doing smart moves?
He outmaneuvered Eddie Hearn by doing absolutely nothing, if you think about it. Because he basically said to Wilder, just spend time with your family, get your head right, take some time out, relax, sort your training situation out, come back better. Your fight with Fury will be here when you're ready. That's what you want in your promoter / manager. You want a guy who just says, listen, I'll look after you.
He sent a private jet, didn't he, for Wilder to go see him. Wilder, they flew him over to see him and that. And they sat him down and just said what you've just said there, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's all they had to do. And here's the irony of it, Russ. Hearn could have done this, but now you look at Hearn, right? Look at Al Heyman and the people Al signs. Everyone gets looked after, right? Even if you're not commercially viable for him, there's someone in Al Heyman's team that will keep an eye on you. That'll make sure you're okay.
Sam Watson, isn't it?
There are others, but yeah, he's one of them. And then now look at Eddie Hearn, right? Look at all the people who've been on the private jet with Eddie Hearn. Anthony Sims Jr., Otha Jones III, Ammo Williams, a lot of people, Nkosi Solomon, a lot of people Hearn has hyped up have just been ditched after no time at all. Like Hearn doesn't have that because he needs boxers to make money. He needs boxers for validation in life. So if you're not helpful to his ambition, he gets rid of you. Whereas Al doesn't care if you make money or not. He cares if you're happy. He cares if you're set up for life. They're the important things.
He did well for De Gale, didn't he?
De Gale never earned that money again.
Yeah.
Imagine what he could do for Porky's Corner, though.
Oh, Big Al.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you'd have Beyonce as a guest and everything.
Could you imagine if I got Al Heyman interview?
You'd find a way to fall out with him.
I could fall out in an empty room with just myself. You know, I'm here all day on my own, Terry. I fall out with myself in here, mate. Kick doors, smash this down at back and lot. And I'm only here on my own.
Oh, man.
Okie dokie then. Well, listen, I'm going to crack on.
Oh, man.
Thanks for coming on, Terry. It's been fantastic. I know you've got a busy day. I've seen a programme with you on. You were talking to this woman on YouTube about banking and computers and all that. Will that something to do with your job and that?
My old job, yeah.
Your old job, yeah. She could hold her own, couldn't she? Yeah, that's a bright girl, wasn't she?
Yeah, Liz was pretty smart. Yeah, no, it was fun, man. That was a year ago.
Yeah, seen it. Good man.
I hope you like
the shirt,
Porky.
That shirt. I thought Steve Bunce had some terrible summer shirts. Terry, that was a shocker. Maybe we ought to have a shit day video zone where I just put the shittest shirt that I've got at home on, and whoever comes on has to put a shit shirt on. You should wear that one, Terry. Jesus.
I mean, I've got worse. Don't worry about that.
Okay, then, my friend. Well, listen, you take care. Have a great day. Cheers, mate.
Take care, mate. Bye.
Well, that was Terry, my good friend from London, born in Zimbabwe. So he'll have seen a lot, won't he, Terry, over the years? I think that's about it for this morning. 10:15 on a Thursday. I've got a gentleman coming on Zoom at 11. And then I think I've got Maximus coming down from Scarborough. He's got a gym. He wants to come here and get on the channel. So I'm going to cop for him for today, a few hours. Might take him up to Chris Smedley's gym. We've got a big Porky's Corner, big banner going across gym up there. You might like that, Maximus. He's a proper hardcore. He's a super hardcore, in fact, because he's joint members area. Right, Rico's had a good idea. Not my idea, it's Rico's. This is what we're going to do. If you remember, and you're paying $5.99, what we're going to do, we're going to let you send your questions in. So send your questions in. If you want to put them on the comment section, then everybody can see them. Put them on comment section, and I'll pick 20 questions out, or the first 20, or the best 20. Let's have a look. We'll pick the first 20 out because you remember, right, and you're paying $5.99 a month, we know that you're genuine, don't we? Right? This is where social media shoots its in for. Not one member's disliked any of my videos, do you know that? So because I know they are. Don't mean to say that we're going to come and get you or anything like that, but point is, this is the way forward for social media. And I've been pointing this out for a while now. So if you remember, send your questions in. And what we'll do, we'll go through first 20. Because I know there'll be genuine questions. It'll not be, Porky, is it true you're a rapist? Porky, is it true you're a pedo? Porky, is it true you burgle old people's houses or you still inject heroin? You know, the vileness. And can I just say that I used to smoke it on foil when I did take it? That were 2000 to 2010, wasn't it? But no, point I want to make is, if you remember, send me your questions in. First 20 questions, I'll answer every single one on the channel. But I don't know how to read them off and keep it up on channel. So what I'll have to do, I'll have to write them all down and read them off this. But we'll still leave them on so that you can all see that the questions are getting read and that we're being transparent. So, all right, and it might give a few of you an incentive to join members area then. Send a few questions in. So we're going to do this at least once a month. We're just trying to do something different and evolve. All right. So see that trigger? I've still got that trigger in my head, haven't I, about heroin. See what I mean? It's not good, is it? That's not good. 11 years later this October. But it is what it isn't. So peace out. Keep on trucking. Keep supporting boxing. Thank you for liking and subscribing and leaving a comment. And also the people that joined the members area. The pinned comment underneath the video is the link to join, whereas for 2 months I haven't really put it on because I don't really deal with that side of things. But now that we're kicking on a little bit, I've got to push on a bit now. So, all right. So thanks for watching. Peace out. Oh, big shout out to Liam Cameron. You swerved me Sunday and you swerved me Monday, Liam. Pick up the phone. All right. I know you're 18 stone 6, or is it? Or have you got down to 15.6? But Liam, pick up the phone. If you're going to have a comeback, Liam, you need to come on channel and tell us about your comeback. All right. You've still got something in basement. Peace out.